Hello everyone. Hello to all the audience we have in Zoom and in Facebook. Hello to all our speakers today. Thank you very much for accepting to be our speaker today. Very high profiles we have today to talk about studying in the UK, which will be the part 2 of a webinar that we have already held in Tunis in August 20. So this webinar is co-organized with the Tunisian Embassy in London. And as we said, it's a follow-up webinar to one we have organized in summer. It was very successful, but what we have realized is the gap is very big between two things. So we have here in the UK, the most prestigious universities in the world. All parents, they all dream to have their child accessing university here in the UK and succeeding in studying in the UK and attending any of the very good universities that we have here. And what we have in Tunisia is ambitious students. They are very bright. All they dream of is to go and study in London, to go and study in Cambridge, in Oxford, and to pursue their dreams in the UK. But what they don't know and what they don't understand is where to start. How can I do it? Where to go? Who do I contact first? Do I contact the Tunisian embassy? Do I go to the British embassy? Who can help me? The process overall seems very complicated. All I can hear and all we can hear so we have a students group in the UK. I am worried, I am concerned, I don't understand, I don't know where to start. What's the cost of living in the UK? What's the cost of studies? Can I do it? Is it possible? Who can help me while I am preparing for my application? When do I need to start? How long would it take? The main question is who can help me to understand and who can help me when I come to the UK, and where should I go? So in order to answer those questions and to clarify even further, we have decided and thought with the Tunisian Embassy in London that it's worth organizing another webinar to clarify even further. And in order to do it today, we have our speakers. So we will start with His Excellency Nabil Khedher from the Tunisian Embassy in London, who will present how the Tunisian Embassy will support the students and what the Tunisian Embassy offer to our students. Then we will have Kate from the FCD office, and she's a Maghreb education advisor. So Kate will also help and will also clarify and give her opinion and her advice to students. She will also talk about the visa application process. We also have Duncan and Mike from the education advisors, and both they will tell us about what education advisor can offer to international students. And also we will talk about different sectors students can study in the UK. So we talk about healthcare, for example, a subject that we haven't covered last time we had our webinar. We will have Anne-Marie Graham from UK-CISA. Anne-Marie is the CEO at UK-CISA, and she will talk and present UK-CISA and the services they offer to international students. We will have also a presentation from Senda. So Senda bin Abdallah is the officer of the newly created ATUGE, a students group. So we have created this group specifically to help students and to focus on students in the UK, but also to close the bridge between Tunisian students in Tunisia who are looking to come to the UK and Tunisian students here in the UK. So for those who don't know ATUGE, I did not present myself, so I am Samia Rezgui from ATUGE UK Committee. I am in London and I live in London, and ATUGE UK is part of ATUGE. ATUGE is a Tunisian association created in 1990 by Elias Sherbi, and at the time they created ATUGE in order to help students who were going from Tunisia to study in France. And here we are. 30 years later, we are trying again to help students that would like to come to the UK to study. So 30 years later, we have now more than 7,000 members in the world. And we have created so many groups, and so our aim is always to bring together Tunisian students and Tunisian workers around the world and work together on different projects. So we will start now with His Excellency Nabil Khedher. So over to you, Your Excellency.
Well, thank you very much, Samia, and good evening, everybody. It's a real pleasure for me to be with you this evening. The topic is very interesting and very important to the Tunisian embassy. I would like first to thank all the other speakers, especially Kate, who is based in Morocco, I think, but she covers Tunisia. And Anne-Marie Graham, who accepted our invitation to speak this evening and to present the Council for International Students Affairs, the representatives of Education Advisors, and Senda bin Abdallah, who is currently studying in the UK. So it's, I think, a good representation that we have here, officials and people who are consultants and a representative of students. So I understand that the webinar is right now on live for people to watch, which is good, I think. I don't know how many have been connected so far, but I understand that the number is quite high. This is, as Samia said, it's a follow-up webinar that comes just to complement the first webinar that ATUGE UK held in August. And at that time, we realized that, as Samia said, there were quite a number of questions raised by the students, and they were a little bit lost because the information maybe is available on internet, but not all the information. So this is, let's say, an opportunity to provide them with first-hand information, reply to some of their questions. We will, I think, address those during this event. Just to give you a rough idea, we estimate at the embassy that there are between 400 and 500 students, Tunisian students, currently enrolled in UK universities across the UK, of course. Most of them are in London and big cities such as London, Birmingham, Liverpool, and Manchester. And this is the number is increasing year on year, and I can tell you, as Samia said, there are so many parents now wishing to send their children to study in the UK because of the excellent reputation of the academic system here, and so. When I said that there are 500 students, I mean from the undergraduate and up until the PhD students. So we have in those people who maybe even come for just the undergraduate studies, but others who come just to complete their studies, PhD and in MPhil. So I think this is one of the areas where both governments are working, trying to focus to strengthen the cooperation and mobility of students. So we try to address, as an embassy, some of the concerns that the students may have, but we are working at the same time between governments so that we approach this in more systematic way. And just to tell you that we have in place a joint commission for higher education between Tunisia and the UK. This is quite a successful mechanism that we have in place, which is looking at many questions, many areas where we can collaborate and try to build and strengthen the ties between the two countries. And one of the points that the matters that we're looking at is try to facilitate, how students can come from Tunisia to study here, but at the same time to try to encourage rich students to go to Tunisia. And I think we have now identified some aspects where we can start working. I can mention, for instance, that there will be a group of undergraduates, Arabic students learning Arabic, who will go to Tunisia as part of this, of an exchange when conditions will allow. At the Commission, we looked at, as I said, some of the constraints that students may face, and we identified the lack of understanding of the UK system, which is quite a peculiar or unique system, which is not well understood by the Tunisian students. The visa process seems to be one of the problems as well, and of course the high cost of studies. As I said, we're trying to address these matters, and I hope that during this webinar we will have some elements of response, or how we can address those in the future. As an embassy here, we are we represent the Tunisian state with all its services, and in the first instance, we provide consular services to our students here. So my advice would be, as soon as you get to the UK, it would be good to register yourself with the embassy, with the consular section, so that we know where you are, and you know, that is the first contact you make with the embassy, so that if you need any kind of assistance, be it consular or any other kind of assistance, we can look at how we can provide that. So that is one of the my advice. The second advice, we just let you know that we have today with us this evening Noor Zarouk, who is my colleague in charge of education at the embassy. So it would be good to establish contact with her, and she will be your contact point at the embassy. So it's good to have an updated database, so we know about, you know, how the number of Tunisian students here. Of course, this is the main route would be that people, you know, students coming from Tunisia enrolled in rich universities, but we have as well binationals or Tunisian who are born here, but they don't face the same problems as their families live here. But nevertheless, it would be good for us to know about those as well, so we can facilitate networking between all our students. Again, I forgot to mention that that the event is being organized with ATUGE UK. It's one of our partners for many events, actually, not only those related to students. So it's good that ATUGE UK is thinking about setting up, or even has launched now, a sort of support group for students, and we're building actually on a successful experience during the lockdown and the COVID, when the COVID outbreaks, you know, started. We had so many students who really, you know, were in a very difficult situation, and with ATUGE and others, we try to help as an embassy to provide them with some advice, some support as well. As with some of them, you know, we had to repatriate them to go back to Tunisia, because you know, they couldn't afford, you know, to stay here while universities were closed, and some of the accommodations they had to leave you know, on a short notice. So those are kind of assistance that we provide. Of course, when conditions will allow, we will try to organize few events at the embassy to host them, as we did in previous years, just to facilitate contact between all students here. This is not possible under the current circumstances, but hopefully we will plan a few events maybe in 2021. So this is just an introduction. I'll be, of course, watching and participating in this webinar and staying, if there will be questions. And again, I thank all the speakers and especially ATUGE for organizing this important event. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and thank you to the Embassy and to the team you have with Noor for all the support always offered to students. So we value the relationship, and we thank you very much for your feedback and for your support. So now we will listen to Kate Thomson from the FCD office. Kate, as you said, is Maghreb education advisor. So we would be very keen. Also, Kate is a member of the Higher Education Commission. So we would like to have your view on, for example, how Tunisia is seen among other countries in terms of higher education, and also we would like to know about the new routes offered to international students, especially for visa, because we hear so many updates happening. Things are changing, and also in the UK we have this tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and so people like from Tunisia are not used to the system. So if you could shed some lights on how this works in a very understandable way for people who wouldn't know about the system. Thank you, Kate. So over to you.
Thank you, and it's an honour to be with you and the new Tunisian ambassador to the UK tonight. I'm from, as you said, the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office in the UK, and I'm representing the British Embassy in Tunis tonight. So first of all, it's great to see so much enthusiasm amongst young Tunisians to study at the UK's universities. Over the last couple of years, the British Embassy and British Council Tunisia have worked hard with the Tunisian Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research to improve student mobility between our two countries. We established the Tunisia UK Higher Education and Scientific Research Commission in 2018 in order to transform the higher education links between Tunisia and the UK. And through the Commission, there are ongoing discussions to make UK higher education even more accessible to Tunisian students. We were delighted that last year Tunisia was added to the list of countries that would benefit from a simplified process for obtaining the Tier 4 student visa. And I know that our visa system in the UK can seem very complex, and you're right, there have been quite a few updates. I think the best place to keep up to date with the requirements is gov.uk, so that's gov.uk, and then just search for student visas under that, and it sets out in very plain English exactly what you need to do. So for example, it doesn't talk about Tier 4 anymore, we talk about the student route instead. But basically you can apply for a student visa to study in the UK if you're 16 or over and you've been offered a place on a course by a licensed student sponsor. So a student sponsor being a place of higher education, a recognised certified place of higher education in the UK. For students from other countries, they have to show they have enough money to support themselves and pay for their course. That's one of the exemptions that Tunisia has enjoyed from last year, but your sponsor may still ask you to show that proof, and can speak, read, write and understand English. And usually the easiest way to prove that is through doing the British Council IELTS course. So that's IELTS. And also if you Google that, IELTS, British Council, you'll find all the details of that. So basically you'll apply, the earliest you can apply for a visa is 6 months before you start your course. You'll usually get a decision on your visa within 3 weeks. And then how long you can stay depends on the length of your course and what study you've already completed. If you're 18 or over and your course is at degree level, you can usually stay in the UK for up to 5 years. If it's below degree level, you can usually stay in the UK for up to 2 years. But there was new guidance brought in last year whereby overseas students who graduate from a UK higher education institution can stay and work in the UK for 2 years after graduation if they obtain a job. Basically, the fees, it costs £348 to apply for a student visa from outside the UK, and you'll also have to pay a healthcare surcharge as part of your application. So obviously it's possibly, you know, not the cheapest place in the world to study, but the quality of the education on offer perhaps helps offset that. So for example, I've experienced quite a few different education systems since I am an education expert. I was lucky enough to graduate from Trinity Hall, Cambridge for my undergraduate. I did my bachelor's in modern and medieval languages there. And then I did my master's in education and international development at University College London. So I've had that experience, and then I've worked in quite a few countries abroad as well. And I can definitely say that the reason why university courses in other countries can be cheaper is because they educate in a mass type way. So you will have a lecture theatre full of students and very little, if any, one-to-one attention. Whereas, for example, at Cambridge, I had a lot of one-to-one tuition. And I feel that the education I received when I talked to students from elsewhere in the world, what I covered in my bachelor's was probably equivalent to what they covered in their bachelor's and master's put together, and in some cases a bit of PhD as well. So also the other thing that you benefit from in UK universities are their very strong links to the labour market. They're very practical, they're very focused on employment skills. So it's not about memorising facts, it's about giving you the skills that you need for the 21st century labour market. Anyway, I've probably spoken for long enough now. I'm very happy to answer any further questions, and I wish you all the best of luck in your learning journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. That was very clear. And I'm already having feedback saying the guideline of what Kate is saying would be very much beneficial for everyone. So maybe we will try to create a guide based on what you were saying. But it is true, even the feedback of everyone, it is possibly expensive to study in the UK, but it is very much worth it, especially when people start working. The only difficulty is how to get the funds in order to pay for those fees. For example, here in the UK, students, they can have loans, study loans, and unfortunately, when you are a Tunisian student and you just arrived to the UK, it is not something that they can access. So we are trying to think together of what solutions we could find. We have just started thinking about it, but hopefully, let's stay optimistic about the subject. And so later we will have more questions to you, Kate. Thank you very much. So now we will listen to Anne-Marie Graham, CEO of UK-CISA, to talk about UK-CISA and all the services that they offer to international students. Over to you, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, Samia. I'm going to just share my screen as well because I've got a few slides. I've got a lot of information to put out, so I will share my screen eventually. But first of all, thank you very much for inviting me this evening to talk to students. Welcome to those of you that have started your education in the UK this year. And an even bigger prospective welcome to those of you who are considering a course in the UK. So I'm going to use my a slot this evening to introduce you to our unique organisation, which exists to promote the interests of international students coming to the UK to study and support those who work with them. So just a little bit about UK-CISA for those of you that I'm sure that you probably haven't heard about us at all. So we are UK-CISA, the UK Council for International Student Affairs, or UK-CISA, UK-CISA we call ourselves. Lots of people in the UK are unsure how to pronounce it. It's a real challenge. One of my colleagues always reminds us that it's easy to remember because it rhymes with visa, which is a lot of what we do. So that's accidental, but it's a nice way to remember it. Our members include all UK public universities, many private universities, further education colleges, students' unions, students' associations in Scotland, and also we represent a lot of commercial organisations such as education agents and immigration lawyers. So essentially anyone who works with international students coming to the UK to study can be a member of UK-CISA and can benefit from our membership. And it's not just our members that can benefit, but also the international students themselves. So we are very fortunate in the UK to have a UK Council for International Student Affairs. You know, not very few countries have anything like it. And one of the things that we're very fortunate to have is that we have this website which provides a wealth of information for our students. We're constantly updating information on our website to reflect government policy changes and guidance, such as the new student route that Kate mentioned earlier, and any other external factors that might impact on the international student experience in the UK. So I just want to take you through a little bit of the information that we have on our website. And this is just a snapshot of the menu of information that we have to offer. As you can see just from this image, there is a lot of information on there. I'll use this session to give you some pointers to some quick links, but also just to talk you through what we have. So as you'll be able to see at a glance, there's a wide range of information on there about all aspects of the student experience. So for those of you looking for help on, what to study, where to study, still considering your options, then, you would go to the preparation and arrival section. There's lots of information for you there. Not just on the website itself, but it points to other useful sources of information, including gov.uk where relevant. There's lots of advice on visas and immigration. I know that's a big question for lots of people. Immigration, visa status, fee status. You'll see under visas and immigration that we have lots of sections under there that covers the myriad of questions that can be have about immigration. But it is a very, very complex piece, so it's very difficult to capture just in a very small presentation tonight, but I'll give you some advice later on for where to go if you get stuck. But as you can see from this there's lots of different headings. So we have visas and immigration, fees and money. So I see a lot of questions in the Q&A about scholarships, how to find a scholarship. There's lots of guidance on our website about how to fund your studies and where to look to fund your studies. Scholarships is a complex picture. Obviously there are big national scholarship schemes like Chevening, but lots of scholarships are offered at institutional level, at school level, so they might be in a particular discipline. So it does require a lot of diligence and research to find them, unfortunately, but there's some pointers on our website, so I do encourage you to have a look on there. There's also information about practicalities such as finding accommodation, opening a bank account, issues around career guidance, how to access health and healthcare, all of the practicalities. We try and cover them as much as we can under studying in the UK. And there's, obviously there's that changes all the time. So, if you look on our website, you sign up for our student e-news, which you can do, then you'll get the updates on there as we post new items. But it's always worth bookmarking our information and advice page. The URL is at the top of this slide, and I'm sure Samia will share the slides after the event as well. It's worth bookmarking that, coming back to that as often as you can. Obviously, we are in the middle of a global pandemic, and that does have specific effects. So I just want to highlight this particular page to you. This is a special page that we've created at the moment to bring together all of the key information around coronavirus. So you'll often see things like this on the UK-CISA webpage, where there's a specific topic that needs to be covered quite quickly in a lot of detail, and this is just one example of how we might do that. This is an area where it's a lot of guidance for our international data, often daily, sometimes more than once a day, but that's a distinctive website. So if you have any questions around that, that's where to go. But there is life beyond COVID, of course, I promise you, and so I've pulled out some quick links from our website here that you might want to look at for those of you who are thinking of studying in the UK, that may cover off some of the questions that you have and that you're highlighting in the Q&A this evening. As I say, I'll just leave this there for a moment, but I'm sure the slides will be shared after the event. And for those of you who have already joined us in the UK, here are some quick links on the website that you might find useful now that you're here. Obviously, that information advice menu page is where you'll find everything. These are just a couple of things that I pulled out that I thought might be quite useful for you to pick up. But I want to talk to you about some of the more campaign aspects, engaging aspects. We're not just about giving information, advice and guidance. We're also about promoting the wonderful contribution that international students make to the UK, and promoting the interests of international students. So just to mention a few other things while I have your attention, I wanted to flag our new campaign for international students to get involved in, the We Are International campaign. And that's designed to celebrate our international students and the contribution they make to UK society and our education system. So this campaign aims to showcase the stories of international students, demonstrate how international partnerships benefit communities across the UK, and also to help connect international students, help them forge lifelong connections through friendship, through research, through volunteering. So our campaign provides a platform for students to share these stories, to share case studies from our members, and also enables us to host and support events for students as well. We are encouraging international students to get involved in this campaign, so whether that's contributing content on social media, sharing their stories, and of course getting involved in our events. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about a couple of events we're planning now. And also you can see on the sidebar, you can follow this campaign on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram as well. Part of the campaign is that we have international student ambassadors. So we're about to enter for our second cohort of student ambassadors. It's a competitive programme. Applications are open now. So if we have any students on the webinar this evening that are here in the UK, you may want to consider applying. There's another 2 weeks to do so. This is for any student who's on a UK education programme, and it's a great opportunity for the students to develop their own skills in policy making, in influencing, and to really engage with the UK education sector, and also to mentor and to coach other international students and to give back. So we have our first cohort who's been in place for 10 months now, and they've been an inspiration to us all. So this is a wonderful opportunity to join them if you're eligible. Another thing that I wanted to draw your attention to is our UK-CISA Fest, which opened for registrations earlier this week. You can apply via our website. It's free to register. It's a week-long series of events bringing together students to inform policy and practice, and to celebrate International Education Week and International Student Day on the 17th of November. So there's a lot, you can access the full programme via the website. There's lots there for everyone. It's on around all aspects of the international student experience. We've got some very high profile speakers, including the UK's International Education Champion, and our President, Lord Karanbila, who's also Vice President of the Confederation of British Industry. And also our International Student Ambassadors will be leading quite a lot of sessions as well. We've got the National Union for Students. So it's a very exciting programme. I encourage you to check it out, and it's all online, so and free to access. So hope to see many of you there. And a couple of last things from me, really. Obviously, as you've seen from my presentation, UK-CISA has a lot of information on its website. We work hard to provide as much information as we can for international students and our members, but there may be queries that you can't resolve by searching our web resources or by asking your chosen universities. So we also offer an advice line for students several hours a week. This is for queries that cannot be resolved or answered by searching our website for information. It may be a specific question that you can't find the answer to on our website, or you may have a specific individual situation that you would like particular guidance on. So this is a very busy service, so you may not get through on your first attempt. Do keep trying, and remember to try and find your answer on the web page first. But that advice line is there, and you can find information on how to reach it through this web link. But lastly, really, I think, just to reiterate what Kate said, I think that the UK education experience is a very high quality one. UK-CISA's members, all of our institutional members, are passionate about and committed to providing a world-class experience for you should you choose to come and study here. If you are already here in the UK, then welcome to the family. We are really pleased that you chose us, and we hope that you enjoy your time studying in the UK. And of course, if you're considering a UK education, then I hope this event gives you the information that you need or you want. And do feel free to contact UK-CISA, check out our web resources, or contact our member institutions if you're interested in one of their particular courses or disciplines for more information. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for the great presentation. I think it's so important that students see it and that students know about the existence of UK-CISA and the existence of this website. It covers everything, so instead of reinventing the wheel again and looking for questions here and there, looking for answers by asking other people, we can see that everything, like all topics that all students are asking about, they are mainly in the website. So thank you for the great work and the great effort that you are putting in this. And I am 100% sure and confident that if just by looking at the website, at least they will know where to start. They will know by topics. They will know what's available and what are the things that they can go through topic by topic. For example, healthcare, like the fees that what Kate was talking about earlier, we don't know in advance that it exists. So by just looking at the website. I'm sure students, at least they will have 70% of 80% of their work done, and they will understand at least 70% of what the expectations are. We have a lot of questions on the application here Zoom, so we will ask them during our Q&A session. So thank you very much again, Anna. So now we will listen to Duncan Quirk, who is Director of Marketing at Education Advisors, and also to Mike Fanya, who is the Academic Director at Education Advisor. So Education Advisors, we will listen to Duncan and Mike, who will present what kind of assistance they are offering to international students in the application process. Then we will also hear about the topic that everyone would like to hear about, is what's the cost of studies, what's the cost of living, what are the different costs between studies. So if I study, I don't know, management, would it be different to if I study anything in the healthcare sector? So over to you, Duncan and Mike. I don't know who would like to start first.
Thank you, Samia. I'll go first, and thank you for inviting us on. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, we hope we can help some Tunisian students come over. We are an education consultancy. We advise parents and students on private schools, so some boarding schools, and also university options. So I'm just going to share some slides with you. Okay, can everybody see that okay? Yep, okay. So very quick run through from myself first. If you're coming to study in the UK from Tunisia, how do you start? So we thought we'd come up with some 5 tips for you. I'd first say plan ahead. Sounds obvious, but it does take a long time to get everything together. Know your target career. There's no point coming here and investing heavily if you don't then have the outcome afterwards. Prepare and document your full educational and work history. Know your budget. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then identify your target courses and universities. Again, our academic director, Mr. Fanya, will talk about this shortly. So, okay, so first I just wanted to look a couple of slides at how important it is to know which course you're going to be targeting. So which course can you study? So first of all, we're looking at an undergraduate degree here, bachelor's degree, usually 3 years. If you have a look at the current qualification, now if you've studied A-levels or an IB diploma from an international school, you should be fine to go on for direct entrance onto a 3-year undergrad degree. And you do that by applying directly to the university or through UCAS, which is an online system Mr. Fanya will explain a bit more about, where you apply to 5 universities at the same time. So that's fine. If you've been to an international school or have these international qualifications, if you're completing high school and have the Tunisian baccalaureate, you would most normally need to do a 1-year international foundation program before starting your 3-year undergrad degree. So it's essentially 4 years. How you can do this, you apply directly to the university or to a foundation provider. Now, foundation provider, there are a few private companies which work either in tandem with universities or have standalone colleges, and they all offer different ranges and particular subjects of foundations. Alternatively, you might have already completed an undergraduate degree and want to be looking to go on to a master's program or a PhD. If you've completed your degree in the UK or the EU, you can usually progress quite comfortably to a master's degree. If you're applying with one of these Tunisian qualifications below, they are usually acceptable as well. It will depend on a university and a course-by-course basis. Now, some of you might be reading this and thinking, oh, I don't quite meet the requirements, particularly when it comes to the IELTS requirement of 6.5. If you don't meet the academic or the language requirements for a university, that you shouldn't give up. You could usually take a pre-master's course. It's usually 1 or 2 semesters of academic and language study prior to you starting on your master's. So there are always options in if you're coming from a different kind of angle. And that's one of the beauties of the education in the UK. It's very flexible. You can make it work for you. But I think it's important now for me to hand over to Mr. Fanya. He's going to give a little bit more information about the application process, if you would please, Mike.
Thank you very much. And can I also add my gratitude for inviting me to be on this forum and us to be on this forum. Just to say that I completed a postgraduate degree a very long time ago at King's College London, but I have been involved in education in the UK at senior level since then, and also was involved in establishing the first and only sixth form school, boarding school in the UK. I have now, of course, representing education advisors, and I'm going to give you some of the nuts and bolts of applying for a university place in the UK. Good universities are competitive. UK applications are made through the online UCAS system. You probably know this, and you can apply for up to 5 universities, although only 4 if you're deciding to take medicine, dentistry, or veterinary medicine as your chosen courses. Now, early applications are advised because universities begin to offer places as soon as applications start coming in. So do apply early if you're applying for a university place. Look out also for deadlines. For medicine, dentistry, and veterinary medicine, there is an early deadline of the 15th of October, and the same for Oxford and Cambridge. For all other applications, the deadline is the 15th of January of the year of entry. But you really have to make those deadline dates. Now, choosing your course and university is an essential part of everything. Make sure, first of all, that you meet the entry requirements. Look and see what grades you might require, either already taken or predicted. Top universities are very competitive. You will also need the right course codes and the degree title to apply through UCAS. Now, the most important part of any application is, of course, the personal statement. And the personal statement is only one part of your application, but it is the most important part. Admissions tutors look at that very, very closely, because that's what tells them really who you are and what you want to do. You should not underestimate the personal statement, and that is something that we do through education advisors, is obviously spend quite a lot of time working with our students in trying to put together a very convincing and strong personal statement. It gives you, as a student, the opportunity to show reasons for choosing a subject. And of course, your motivation, your personal skills, maybe your IT strengths, which are quite important if you're thinking of business-based courses, banking, or many other courses. And also the personal skills that will help you to be successful are very important here. So what are the requirements? Well, you've got 47 lines to write your personal statement in. And what do admissions tutors look for when they look at that? They look for academic ability. Actually, they want to make sure that you are able of working at the level to actually be successful in the course you're applying for. Watch out though, there can be little dangers here. You might find that a course demands something you hadn't thought about. If you're choosing international management or business studies courses, There's going to be a mathematics pass required, so make sure you've got all of that. Make sure that the entry grades for the course you can meet, and also be aware that if you put down any extracurricular activities, unlike perhaps the American experience, where they are very, very keen to see whether you're a good footballer, basketball player, whether you paint in your spare time or write novels. Much more important to the British universities is, yeah, okay, what have I got in the way of academic achievement, and what subject-related work experience have I done? And this is very, very important in your personal statement. I think most important of all is passion for your subject. You might say, well, I've always wanted to be a doctor since I was born. I've always wanted to be an economist since I could learn to read. You need to justify your decision to pursue a course that costs a lot of time and money. If your personal statement is not convincing and it shows that you are not committed, you are likely to be rejected. Remember, you're applying for undergraduate admission, not a job. Don't bypass the academic nature of the university courses in your personal statement. It will be seen as being negative. Oh, and above all, don't tell any untruth, and don't copy somebody else's personal statement. That is bound actually to lead to you being rejected. Thank you, Duncan. Wanted to say a word or two about medicine. Medicine is probably the most complex, difficult of the courses you could apply for. Not only do you need top grades in your science subjects, and chemistry, by the way, is a compulsory subject, normally with 2 other science subjects at A level or in IB, but you also need to pass psychometric exams for some university courses, the BMAT and UCAT. These are what I would call how you think outside the box, how you can show your intelligent approach to the subject. It doesn't require detailed medical knowledge, but it does require a common sense approach to medicine. If you get through all of that, you've then got an interview. And this will again usually contain a measure of job-related experience and whether or not you've got it, which will be very, very important. Medicine has about a 10% acceptance rate. You know, it really is very tough. And therefore, you might, if you feel that's going to be too big an ask, look at other medical related degrees. Biomedical courses, pharmacy, it might be something like physiotherapy, occupational therapy. These are usually on grades easier to get into, but you still need a strong academic and scientific background, and you do still need work experience, which is very highly rated for all health-related degrees.
Okay, terrific. Thank you, Mike. So we just wanted to finish up. There was a specific question about costs. Unfortunately, Kate alluded to it earlier. It is pretty expensive to study in the UK. It is an investment in your future, your life. One thing to point out is really I would recommend 2 main considerations. Firstly, your tuition fees, which can vary. Second is your living costs and expenses, which can also vary considerably. I pulled up a few examples. I mean, tuition fees for Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, they're all very high, particularly for international students, £25,000 or more a year. For medical degrees, medicine is expensive to study, more so than other courses such as business or finance. You can see it can come in at £20,000 per year for the first 2 years, and then years 3, 4 or 5 you could have fees that are for £40,000, sometimes even more. Don't let this scare you off too much. I have started off with the higher end. There are other universities, a great range of really top universities that have kind of more modest international tuition fees of around £14,000 per year and up. Point 2, living costs vary considerably. London, Cambridge, Oxford, the southeast are by far the most expensive locations. If you look in the northeast, so northeast, northwest, such as Liverpool and Manchester, the Midlands, like Birmingham, it's just nice to live there, but it's a bit more affordable. And I've given you an example there at the bottom of how it's cost double to live in Oxford than it would in Huddersfield, for example. And just for us to leave you, I think Mr. Fanya, if you would like to finish, just advise what services we can offer, how we can help students come here, please.
Just to say that we have a team of expert academic and careers advisors in Oxford, London, and Kent. I think getting through to a university in the UK poses quite a problem to a lot of students, and we do all we can to help identify the most suitable courses and the universities that they can apply to, and we help them obviously with all their applications. We help prepare and submit applications, including personal statements and references, either directly to universities or through our own UCAS registration. We also do interview preparation and psychometric test prepping in order to make sure that students can take on those tasks and be successful. So we're very, very happy to help from anybody who would be interested in our services. Write to us for an inquiry form. There is our website that you can go to, email address you can go to, and a telephone number that you can call, and we will certainly get back to you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you so much, Mike and Duncan. It's very impressive, and it's so clear. Like, I see so many topics that you have talked about. For example, the personal statement is something new. Like, I know for sure it's new for Tunisian students because we don't do it like to access universities in Tunisia. So your insight is it's so good for Tunisian students. Also, the clear picture on like what they need to do, and the education systems which seems a bit complex for Tunisian students. So it was so clear on the slides what they need to do and how to access it depending on which diploma they have. Also the cost of studies per university, per sector, the cost of living. So thank you so much. You are clearly experts, and thank you so much. It's so like the added value of this is really great for our Tunisian students. So now we will be moving to Senda bin Abdallah, who will be responsible for the new group that ATUGE UK has created recently. And she will talk about her strategy and her projects for Tunisian students in the UK. Senda, if you are ready, so she prepared the presentation, I think. Senda, are you here?
Yay!
Hi.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Please tell me that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So I prepared a short presentation to share with you. I'm actually going to touch a bit on everything everyone talked about, but really put together what we as ATUGE can offer to the student community here in the UK. So basically, I'm going to give an overview and sort of like share with you the objectives and the long-term vision that we have as ATUGE, and how, based on the data that we've collected from surveys, we want to help and provide the right resources. So starting with an overview, I updated this slide during today's meeting. Sorry, Kate, do you mind unmuting? I'm so sorry, because I hear my echo. Sorry. Thank you. so much. So yeah, the Tunisian community in the UK, 405 students, which is still increasing. So we have a wide range of backgrounds and different needs and wants from the students. So we're really trying to understand what we can offer and how we can tailor their needs. There's a clear identification of the target audience. So we're talking about both students who are currently in the UK and usually they're looking for networking and social events and are more career driven. So what are the job opportunities in the UK that are available to them? And there's also the students in Tunisia who want to come to the UK that we have identified thanks to the webinar we had during summer. And really the goal of ATUGE here is to provide the resources from the student community that we have built. So based on this, we have a set of objectives, really focusing on understanding the student community better. And for that, we really need to collect data on who they are, what they do, what their interests are, so that we can segment and target them and deliver the right value. So we're really talking about a double value proposition because we have the students who are in Tunisia and need that own information. But we also have a growing community here who are looking to network and also gain that career and job opportunity. So what do we already know from the webinars, but also the surveys that we have conducted? Thanks to the event we had during summer, there's a strong focus on a lack of visibility for the information that is related to studying in the UK. So when focusing on the Tunisians that are looking to come here, there's really a big question mark on the student loans and the scholarships that are available to them once they join the UK. And we know that this is really an important topic because we've been talking about the financial limitations. So it's very important for us to provide that information to them and really give them those resources. There's also the whole application process. So we still today receive emails on, how can I prepare for the IELTS or what documentation do I need? So we just want the students to know that there's already an established community here that is willing to help and share our experience as students. But also, obviously, everyone who talked today shared a wide range of relevant resources that we can access, but we really want to push that forward and provide more resources to the students. And finally, this is a more sensitive topic, but we keep hearing this about, how the allowance of finances is limited for a Tunisian who wants to come to the UK. And this is more related to governmental, limitations that we wish we can really push this forward to provide solutions and open up more doors for the students to join the UK educational system. So this is related to the Tunisian community that are still in Tunisia, but there's also, as I mentioned, a growing community here that is well established. So we conducted a survey to understand what they are looking for. So there's a wide range of backgrounds and either from the cities, it's not just in London, but there's also Kent, Nottingham, Oxford, Cambridge, and really there's a growing need for understanding more about the job opportunities, especially now the job market is impacted, and we really want to help out by providing tailored events based on the students' needs and backgrounds and really get that networking going. And even if we cannot meet in person, we have a wide range of resources available online, and we're really encouraging people to join our webinars and interact and engage, because that's how we can expand our community and really help as much as we can. So having said all that, I wanted also to share with you sort of like our long-term vision for ATUGE and what we're really looking to provide here. So the previous years, we've had the Tunisian Trailblazers, which started the Tunisian community of students. But now, looking in the future, we want to expand that by providing to our members more tailored events, but also a mentorship program where we want to connect students with young professionals. And ATUGE has an immense network of senior people who are working in finance and healthcare and a lot of industries, and we want to connect that with our students. And also recently we have reached out to the French community of students who are also willing to collaborate with us to provide an even bigger range of resources to the students in terms of internships and job opportunities. So yeah, I tried to make it as fast as I could. Thank you for listening, and please feel free to follow us on Instagram because we need that social media connections, and there's our email address if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senda, for all the great work you're doing for the students already. And at ATUGE UK, we would like to wish you well for all your in all of your projects, and we hope you will succeed in your strategy, and that you will put in place the vision you had for 2021-2022. ATUGE UK committee is always supportive and will always help wherever we can, however we can. Mentoring is something that we would like to do it, and we have it already with our members, but we would like to do it on a larger scale going forward, because it's the best thing to do, and it provides very good support to students who will be looking to find a job later or an internship. So thank you very much to all our speakers today. That was fantastic. We provided, and you provided a lot of information to our students. And we are now moving to our Q&A session. So we will have about 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A session. So the first theme, maybe, I think the answer will be, so we will ask Kate about this question. Well, we had so many questions around the topic of chevening. Some easy questions we had. So, is the chevening program available for Tunisian students? I think the answer is yes. So we have, how can we get the chevening scholarship? Is chevening available for Tunisians? And what else? Are there any, scholarship and chevening. So can we answer the question on the chevening program? How can we get the chevening scholarship, and is it available to Tunisian students?
Yes, it's available to Tunisian students. I think we have given about 11 chevening scholarships to students, Tunisian students this year. So in terms of how do you get one, it's a competitive process. You have to apply. So you put in a written application first, and then if you are shortlisted, you do an interview with the embassy. So for example, I normally sit on the interview panel for chevening students, and I guess the advice that I would give most applicants is that you need to think that, yes, the UK wants to do chevening scholarships out of the goodness of its heart, but it also wants to get something back from that. So I guess some of what we're looking for in the interview, we're looking for the future leaders, the future movers and shakers, the future influencers of your society, your country, and how we can help you develop that influence and those skills. So for example, if you come and you say, I'd like chevening to pay for a one-year graduate course in I don't know, needlework, sewing, something like that, we're probably not going to think that you're the ideal candidate, because that's not clear to us how that's going to be a very influential, you know, going to lead to you being an influential Tunisian citizen in the future. So I would say really think about that, really practice your English first. Do some mock interviews with friends. There's a lot of guidance on the Chevening website about the sorts of questions that we ask. They're very much around leadership. So think about good examples. Again, it's a type of interview that a lot of countries don't do. We're very competence-based in the UK. So we're looking for you to give us an example, tell us what the situation was, what you did to address that situation, and what the result was. So it's basically the STAR technique: situation, action, result. So yeah, that would be my main advice. And good luck with the process.
Mm-hmm. I just add one more thing about Chevening there. It is just for one-year master's programmes for Tunisian students. So it would, you wouldn't be able to get a Chevening scholarship for an undergraduate programme or a PhD programme. It's just for one-year masters for Tunisian students. And applications close next week.
Oh yes, I should have said that.
So next question is also linked to Chevening. Is Chevening the only scholarship available to Tunisians? We had also many questions around scholarships. Do you offer scholarship for PhD students, graduate, that include for accommodation? So what other than Chevening, what could be available for Tunisian students? So either Anne-Marie or Kate could answer the question.
Do you want me to take that, Kate?
And then I'll see if there's anything I should add.
I think, yeah, as I touched on briefly in my presentation, the scholarships, Chevening is the only government scholarship that is available, to UK government scholarships to Tunisian students, but there are a host of other scholarships available. Some of them will be offered by particular schools in particular UK universities, so they will be looking for the most, just as Chevening is looking for future leaders and influencers, they will be looking for the brightest and the best in that particular subject area. So so there's lots at subject level. So one great place to start is if you know what you want to study, you know what course you want to follow, you're quite focused, following on a particular program, have a look, get in touch with universities that you're interested in and ask them if there are any scholarships available. Because often they're not advertised. It's quite complicated. There are lots of other tips on our website about where to look for scholarship funding. So I would definitely look there. But there are definitely others available. But it does require a little bit of digging and research to get there.
And I would just add that through the Higher Education Commission, we are trying to address this issue. It doesn't seem fair that only very rich people can afford to come and do degrees in the UK. And so we are looking at what we can do to address that, whether we can have more partnerships between UK and Tunisian universities with almost like a student exchange thing. So, for example, there are partnerships being formed between the universities of Oxford and Exeter with the Institut Bourguiba des Langues Vivantes in Tunis. And there's also Erasmus opportunities in PhD research at the University of Westminster for Tunisian graduates. And yeah, I'd also just say that we are looking into an agreement with several universities as to whether we can have a discount in student fees for Tunisian students. So watch this space.
Thank you very much. So yeah, where can we have updates on that, like the discounts, the exchanges? So is there anywhere we could find this information, an update on is it happening or what's happening on those exchanges between universities? Is the information available somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you follow at UK in Tunisia, so our embassy Twitter feed or on Facebook, any developments we will publicise on there. But yeah, let me investigate whether there is like probably the embassy.gov.uk page. We'd put stuff like that on it.
Mm-hmm. And also, I know there is a specific website on Chevening. So because we had like 6 or 7 questions on Chevening, there is a special website. Like if you type in Google Chevening and Tunisia, I'm sure you will find all the information needed with the process and the deadlines and everything. So this is for people, all like students interested in Chevening. So we have a question for the Tunisian embassy. So I don't know whether Your Excellency Nabil or Noor would like to answer this question. It's about whether the Tunisian embassy in London, in the UK, offers special aid for students. And I had the question before saying, is there any way the Tunisian embassy can guarantee, like, have like a be as our grantor or something when we have to rent a place or something. But this is a specific question from one of the audience saying, does the Tunisian embassy in the UK offer special aid for students? So who would like to answer this question?
Well, I can, maybe if Noor has something to add. We don't provide specific financial aid as such, because this is not, we are an embassy, so we have a budget, and we don't have the flexibility to use that budget, you know, for things like, we certainly, when there are some specific problems, we can provide some assistance, financial assistance, but not, you know, in terms of, you know, providing loans or things like that. So this is not possible for us. What we do is, you know, we give advice when we try to address some specific situation where there are problems, and we do this through the network of you know, the community here, Tunisian community. And if the problem, you know, gets very serious, then you know, we can you know, speak to our capital, to Tunis, and see what kind of assistance we can provide. So it is rather case by case, but we don't have something like, you know, a financial scheme to support students. That is simply not possible. What we do is try to help students, to assist them, to give them the right advice, and you know, in terms of course, you know, if we can speak to some of the universities, we can help, you know, providing a paper or something like that. But in terms of finance, this is not, you know, we don't have that facility, I'm afraid. Maybe Noor, if you want to add to this.
Just to add about a separate, question about the Chevening program, I wanted to add that the British Embassy provides on its Facebook page a lot of useful information about the Chevening programs for Tunisian students, and it includes also the deadlines.
Thank you very much. Well, it is worth clarifying that so it's at least known for students that Tunisian embassy doesn't offer like financial support. It is worth clarifying, and thank you, Noor, for confirming on the Chevening. So I have a question now on research. So if we have a student that would like to join research teams in London, so we have many like research teams in London, in the UK, like it could be in Cambridge, it could be in Oxford, it could be in any prestigious university, and they both we have a student doing research in the same on the same subject, and they would like to join a research team for a master training. How can we help them? So there's a student in Tunisia who would like to come to the UK for a research internship as part of his master degree. Is there anything that's offered? Is there any like scholarship system, or so usually they would have like a help, or we could pay them something in order for them to pay for accommodation. Is there anything that's available for only training in the research field? if the subject, for example, is very important, or if the research topic is important or is very like high level. Is there anything that we could that's available for that? Does
I can take this question if you want.
Sure, yeah.
You want me to answer? Because this is, we are looking at those kind of areas where we can collaborate and try to facilitate, you know, contacts and exchange of students and researchers as well. We look at this, of course, at the level of the Higher Education Scientific Research Commission, how we can establish more systematic, because at the moment what we are witnessing is, you know, individual or, you know, separate maybe institutions getting, you know, contacting each other because they work on the same field, but it's being done on a case by case, nothing really, you know, between governments. And because the system is so different here, you know, as compared to Tunisia. Here, the universities they have the full autonomy and independence, so they decide exactly when where they want to put their money. We are looking at, you know, how we can at least collaborate in some priority areas in, you know, scientific research. So what we do here is try to facilitate contact, so we can explore, you know, those areas where there will be interest from both sides. So it has to be two ways, not just Tunisians coming here to the UK, but vice versa as well. Looking at, you know, some UK researchers going to Tunisia, or, you know, try to collaborate, organize some kind of conference that would have some scientific relevance for both countries. It's been quite difficult because, you know, here we always look at some other models that we have in place with other countries, such as France, Germany, where we have this kind of collaboration in place. With the UK, it's just starting. So it took us 2 years actually to understand, you know, better, to get more familiar between, you know, the two systems that are quite very different. And we're trying now to find common grounds where we can work together. That is why, you know, the answer to your question is we're just starting to explore where we can work together, and then we will see later on, I think down the road, where we can really, in a, you know, concrete way, put those collaborations in place. And then, of course, the issue of the funding, where to find the money. The money can come from government, but it can come from the private sector, from particular people who, you know, sponsors who are interested in that subject, and they are, you know, ready to put some money. And I have in mind, you know, a few collaborations that have been facilitated, you know, including by the embassy or by Tunisian researchers who are established here in the UK. So it's rather now case by case, you know, being, you know, done on that way. But we're looking how to make it more systematic in the future. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so well, at ATUGE UK, as you know, we have in our network so many researchers, and they are interested about the subject. So we are also happy to collaborate and to get involved with that. So we are planning to have an event for researchers, because we would like to talk to them, to listen to them. So we were talking about it this morning, only to say next event for us is scientific research. We have them in our network and have them in our database. So we will organize an event only to get them together and see what we can do together and see what they need and see what we can, how we can look to the future together. I have a question, thank you very much. So I have a question for Duncan, it says, Mr. Duncan mentioned that if we don't meet certain requirements, we may start pre-masters. I would like to ask, does it only apply to masters or even undergrad and bachelor's degree? Thank you.
Okay, yes, certainly. I mean, if you don't meet the entry requirements for an undergraduate degree, you can take a foundation program. So in fact, the foundation program, I mentioned it on one of the slides earlier. It's essentially year 0 of your degree, where you kind of fill in gaps. So you might fill in some academic gaps, you might fill in some English language gaps, and then you will always have to take tests at the end of this foundation year. So don't be tricked by anything that says it's guaranteed progression. That's not true. There is some small print, but the majority of students will finish that foundation year and then they'll go into the 3-year undergraduate degree. A pre-masters is a very kind of similar thing, which applies for masters programs.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question that says, are there any virtual salon for universities soon in the UK so that we can discover their fields and programs?
I'll take that, Samia. I'm not sure that there's anything scheduled at the moment, but the best source for this information is Study UK. So if you follow Study UK, they run these events, these virtual events, and you'll be able to find on their website or through their social media channels when the next one is planned.
Thank you very much. Next question I have is there or will there be a British University Exchange Office, a service office in Tunisia, like the DAAD office, which is still an exemplary experience? Does anyone have the answer? A British University Exchange Service Office.
Maybe we can ask Kate to move to Tunis soon, not stay in Morocco, or have a colleague of her, you know, permanently based in Tunis. So to cover this aspect, I don't know if Kate has an answer to that.
No, I don't think there is anything like that at the moment. No, sorry. It's another thing that we're looking at through the Higher Education Commission.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so another question, what's the role of UCAS in the application process for UK universities?
Sorry, I didn't hear for which universities?
For UK universities, so what's the role?
Of UCAS. Well, UCAS is just a great big computer which sits in Cheltenham. I mean, we tend to have a centralized system so that when people apply, they go through UCAS and put in their 5 or however many choices they want to make. And the whole of that is controlled by UCAS, which then is in touch with each of the universities that that person has applied to. And they send out rejections, offers, and you have to reply to UCAS if you want to accept one of the offers that has been made to you. So UCAS is really a centralized computer system to manage the online administration of the university system and whether or not you will get a place on, it is neutral. It doesn't make decisions. It just deals with the universities and with the applicants. And it is a system for getting information back to the applicant once they have made their application.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, very clear. Well, this question is very specific. So I have 2 very specific questions. One of them saying, I am a master's student and I want to ask you about the possibilities of doing a thesis, which is a PhD in infectious disease and microbes in the UK, and where? It's very specific. And then next question.
I'm sure there are lots of places that are offering that, but I think again you need to do some research through the, you know, on institutions that are offering that. There will be a host of places.
Yeah.
So
I think it all comes down to your track record, again, how strong you are. Is it something that you want to do the higher degree in, which is going to be relevant to that university, and that they would be interested to have you do it there? So it does take a fair bit of individual initiative. in that particular case.
Okay. So thank you very much all. So we came to an end of our Q&A session. I would like to close with an optimistic message from every speaker, especially in this pandemic situation. So we know that students are worried all around the world. Even if they have the plan to come to the UK next year, it could be, and it could seem different from all of them. So if we could close by one, give them a message of hope. So I will just leave it to you. So we can start with Mike.
Well, I think that for anybody who's considering university education or coming to do that, we all hope that next year there will be a vaccine, that the vaccine will work, that we will be able to restore normal lives, once more go to concerts, theatres, restaurants. And I would only say that I think that there is hope, real hope, from the research laboratories that people are talking about at the moment, but fingers crossed. Let's wait and see.
Thank you very much, Mike. Anne-Marie?
Yeah, I agree with Mike that there is cause for optimism. I mean, there's lots of great work being done at UK universities into research on vaccines and also around the tracking and testing and tracing. But I think the most important thing to remember is that UK universities will be here whenever you want to come, you know, so you've got a lot of time. Use this time to do your research, to think about where you want to go, to make sure that you know what you want to study so that you can fill those requirements when you feel comfortable and able to do that.
Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. Your Excellency, Nabil?
Well, I think we are in contact with a few students at the moment who have just arrived here in the UK, and I can tell you, you know, the UK universities have adapted very well to the situation, and so well, you know, students' life, you know, students are rather optimistic by definition. So what I have seen is that they taking their courses now from their rooms, most of the courses, so they're not actually attending at the moment, and we wait until, you know, the circumstances will allow for a physical to attend in person. So I am not seeing, you know, that this current situation is really affecting university that much, but nevertheless, I hope that there will be an improvement in 2021 and we come back to some sort of normality. But as the previous speaker said, I think the UK universities, with their well-established reputation and you know, excellence, they will always, you know, attract students, including from Tunisia, and our job here is to try to facilitate, you know, whenever they come to the UK, so that they have the best conditions here to study and live.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Kate?
Clearly there are lots and lots of challenges for everybody in the world at the moment, but we were living life at 100 miles per hour before the virus. Maybe the one good thing is that it's given us a chance to pause and reflect, and it's also shown how quickly the world can change. You know, our whole way of life has changed so quickly because it needed to, and that gives me hope that we will be able to respond to avoid things like the environmental crisis, etc. And perhaps this enforced period of taking things at a slower pace and not rushing around the world will provide us with a better blend of work and life in the future, and we'll come up with new solutions such as effective distance learning that can help us find a good blend and open up access to education to more students. So, for example, one of the things I'd like to see come out of this is that more students across North Africa are able to access British university courses without needing to be physically in the UK. And that would be a cheaper alternative and expand access to those who do not have very much money. So yeah, I guess that's as positive as I'll be at the moment.
That's really great. I hope it works. Huh? I hope really it works. Duncan, over to you.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I mean, the world's always changing, very much so recently, but I mean, things will get better again, and there are always opportunities. So I'm sure for your Tunisian students who want to come here, there will always be the opportunity to do that, and they definitely be most very welcome. So I hope they don't let this kind of thing blow them down. Come over and give it a go. You'll be most welcome.
Senda, message from student to your students, group of students.
Just, yeah, I think I was really scared coming to London, not knowing what was going to happen for my master's, but I've seen how flexible the university has been. Honestly, it's impressive, and even with ATUGE, everything is online, so there's definitely hope, and everyone is so, you know, there's all this collaborative effort that's very encouraging. And yeah, I'd say just remain positive and don't let this situation destroy your goals or achievements, because you can always find a way. So yeah, and now you know about all the support that you have as well, so only positive things. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senda. Thank you very much to all our speakers for the time you have spent with us today, for all the great information inside. I am sure it has been really great for students to follow our webinar today. Thank you very much to all the audience that have been watching us today. I just wanted to remind you that for ATUGE UK, we have our General Assembly on the 22nd of November. So please register and get in touch if you would like to know more about how it works and like the agenda of the assembly. Follow us on our Facebook page, ATUGE UK official, and follow us on Instagram as Senda said. I hope we will all keep in touch, and that all our students will get more and more supports. We are always here, always happy to help. And please don't hesitate to get in touch, to reach out if you need any more information. As we said at the beginning, I will share with you and with all the people that have registered to our webinar the presentations of today. Do not hesitate and to contact Senda now from our UK students group if you need more information on anything. And I hope that you will create more and more webinars on the subject to go through anything you would like to know more about. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.